Me in there, red, orange, and yellow guy. My beard should be cooler than the rest of my skin.
Okay.
So somebody actually called me nearly headless Nick one night, if you guys got that reference. Yeah, you got it, cool. So I normally make the joke that I am the hottest thing inside the frame right now, and it still works. But at the same time, we are looking for those cold spots. The cold spots are going to be black or blue. That's the way the heat signature is set up.
Those?
Yep, exactly. So there's always going to be black and blue in there, especially if there is a person in reference. We're looking for those black and blue areas to move or to take shape. So when I say take shape, I want a head, shoulders, moving arms and legs. That's what we've caught with this guy in the past. Hopefully we'll capture that again one day.
Cool.
So here's what I will tell you. I will always give you stats of the equipment that you're using, so that way you know what to expect. I capture about 4 to 5 pieces on this a year, not an episode. Okay, things that I will put my stamp of approval on, like we definitely caught something, a year, not an episode.
Okay.
I do this 7 nights a week.
Yeah.
Now, there's a center crosshairs on there for you, Caitlin. It'll be nice and easy. So if you want to measure something directly, all you got to do is move the camera so that way the center crosshairs falls on whatever you want to measure. So again, we'll use this through a good portion of the night, and then I'll probably take it away from you and we'll try something else out.
Okay.
Now, with that said...
I thought it was a cemetery when we walked by this way.
Might as well call it one. Interesting concept. I don't think I've had anybody call it that before. We're very fortunate that there are no cars in here tonight, so we're going to have the whole space to ourselves. But this place used to be something relevant to the history of Charleston. Which, by the way, I can't see your record button. Does it look like a square or a circle?
Square.
Perfect. You're good. Just wanted to make sure I couldn't see it. I usually just check on that a couple of times just to make sure you got the gist of it. So don't think I think you're a dummy.
No, it's okay.
Yeah, I just want to make sure you're going to have some footage to watch later on.
Yeah.
So this place used to be something. It used to be the Charles and Eliza Pinckney Mansion. Their mansion actually sat in the front of the space, facing East Bay Street. Eliza's garden was lined up with Five Church Restaurant, came all the way across. We are standing in the servant and slave quarters for the home. That's the layout of the land. Now, by the way, this is where I start withholding information, especially from you. Reason being is because I'm not going to be giving you questions like what we did over there, like what color is George Washington's white horse, right? You're going to get the answers from your spirit box.
Okay.
That's the point. I don't want you searching for every little thing.
Okay.
Each location, I will give the two of you just enough so you kind of get the gist of what type of person we're trying to hunt down. I'll regroup us after we kind of, investigate each space and then show you all of the answers to show you how it may or may not have tied together. Okay? And then we'll move on to the next. Now, oh, wait. 1, 2, it's always 3.
Ruining my things, guys.
Nope, I know, it's every night. There's usually 3 of them. But anyway, so who the heck were Eliza and Charles Pinckney? They had a son named Charles. They had a nephew named Charles. That's 3 Chucks. That's why we look for secondary clues. I need to know which one it is.
Right.
So if you hear the name Charles, hopefully I get the secondary clue so I know how to address them. They're all different men. So at any rate, the son and the nephew were signers of the Constitution for South Carolina. That's a big deal for us, but I hate politics more than all 3 of us combined. I know that makes no sense, but you giggled about it, so good job. Now, if I don't give those gentlemen that recognition, they will do it for me in a nasty manner through your spirit box. I've seen it a couple of dozen times. So I just make sure I do it so we can move on. We're going to be talking about Eliza anyway. Eliza has a much better history and way more fun. Eliza marries Charles at a young age according to today's standards. I say it slowly like that because if you're going to ask her how old she was, don't expect numbers from the colonial days when girls got married like 12 and 14.
Got it, okay.
Think of today's standards because the husband was over double her age when they married. Creepy then, creepy now. One of those instances where sometimes I have to put my foot in my mouth because sometimes I have an age gap couple on the group. You guys get the point. Anyway, moving on. She married him because her father was over in England, where she's from. And the father thinks he's dying. He's trying to bring all of his children home one last time. Eliza didn't believe he was dying. Instead, she stayed put. Right here, got married. It is 1744. You do not get married in that year to get a green card. We are not a country. So that was not a thing. It was a true love story. There is nothing horrific about this location. If anything, it is a place of respect. And I always say that part slowly to reiterate that point.
Even though this was slave quarters over here? Did you say that or did I make that up?
No, got it.
Okay.
But who said that she treated her slaves poorly?
That would be amazing if she did.
The assumption is that she did not treat them poorly.
Got it, okay.
That she was very respectful. I want you to
Glad
also
that
keep in mind,
exists.
by the time Dad left her here so he can go back to do all his governing things over in England, she was 14 years old running 3 plantations. Do you think a 14-year-old girl is going to have the crack of the whip like most other plantation owners? More than likely not. So you are... Sorry, I had to kind of put that in perspective for you. There's no proof that she did or did not.
Yeah, no, I've never actually thought about that, so that's good to...
Gotta get into the mind of the ghost. Now, back to Eliza. She was right. Dad did not die right away. Instead, he started sending her gifts from England. One of those gifts happened to be the plant seeds of indigo. That's a plant that makes blue dye. Makes your blue jeans blue. That's how we use it today. When she got her seeds, though, she didn't know what to do with them. She actually had to learn from her servants and slaves how to keep it going. It's not always warm here. Believe it or not, it does get cold. So then she had to learn how to make a dye from them because it's a process. And then she moved to a cash crop, got a hold of Dad overseas, told him rice plantation prices are going downhill. We're going to make a killing with the indigo. She was right, because now we have an international businesswoman during colonial times.
Wow, I respect this lady.
Told you, nothing but respect for this lady.
Yeah.
I'm actually reading for the second time a fiction account of her early days, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But I have read her letter book, which is absolutely fascinating because it's a clear snapshot of the times that she lived right here in Charleston. Yeah, and it's in her own hand. So again, it's as crystal as it can possibly be. It's not fiction of any sort. But anyway, so that's the boring business stuff with Eliza. I know we have a lot of respect for her. We're expressing that. That's super great. Hopefully she hears us. I'm sure she does. But let's get into the weird shit, because that's why we're here. With the communication devices that we're using, there's no right or wrong way to do this. You can either just focus on them. I usually call these focus questions, or you can say these things out loud. Whatever you're comfortable with. Most people are not comfortable with talking to somebody they can't see. Right? I will do that all night long.
I kind of like it.
So you're going to focus on basically her death. So she's pretty open about keeping us informed about that and making sure we know our facts. So the 4 major things that we get answers to: how old you were when you died, obviously a number; how you died, obviously whatever caused her death; where she's buried; and which president was a pallbearer at the funeral.
Whoa.
Yeah, told you, pretty prestigious lady here. So with my particular device that I have, it doesn't always give me full-blown sentences or more than a couple of syllables. So I'm going to basically be focused on what happened to the mansion.
Okay.
And then if we get the what, we normally get 2 or 3 numbers from the exact date of when that tragedy occurred.
Okay.
I want you to also keep in mind, we do have, I was going to get your guys' names mixed up here for just a
Caitlin.
minute. Caitlin,
Okay.
I got it. So Caitlin's camera does record audio. If I ask a question or you ask a question, the answer could be a disembodied voice on her audio.
Oh.
We don't know.
But we won't hear it.
We won't hear it in real time. We're also voice recording on my bag. Plus, if you ask a question, I can get the answer. We
Right.
never know how that's actually going to work out. So that's why even with smaller groups like this, minimum 2 pieces of communication.
Right.
So that way, because we don't know where she's going to be. I will mainly be monitoring this guy, and just because we do get a lot of EMF out of this location, I'll explain it as we kind of roll along and when we regroup ourselves. So again, just be mindful of the 3 old men behind you. Oh, look at that, a little 3.7 already. So we're going to take a couple of laps around this location. We don't spend a shit ton of time here, just out of respect.
Okay.
We just kind of want to see if she's going to give us anything, be respectful while we're out and about, and then we'll kind of regroup this, and I'll explain the next location.
Awesome.
All right, so let's do this.
Cool.
You've been recording the
So
entire
we
time, right?
split up or
Yeah.
we
Oh,
stay
no, we're going to
together?
stick together. It's
Oh,
just the
okay.
3 of us. We're just going to stick together, unless you want me to leave you alone.
No, I didn't know if we were...
When there's oh, it's a can.
It's a camera. Yeah, I was waiting for it. So when I have my 10 to 12 people, Aaron, just so you know, I usually say go spread out. I do a round robin with
That
everybody.
makes sense. Okay.
Is that what it should look like though, or no? That's too dark.
I'm putting both sides
Oh no,
up.
it would be that dark.
Oh, okay.
I'm going into the headphones.
What am I doing? I'm just wandering.
Yep, we're just gonna walk nice and slow around, and I'll be writing down whatever she says.
How old were you?
I hate to say something smells
When
good.
you
We're next to
got
the
married.
trash can. Somebody's cooking something.
40%.
What was that?
40% off. I asked how old she was. What president was the pallbearer at your funeral? Early attack.
Okay. Peering. That's the word that I have.
Jeffrey Ward. He's not a president, but
Names and numbers usually don't lie. Names and numbers usually don't lie. So whenever you say a name and I'm like, I don't know who that is, I'm writing it down.
okay.
You want to try to handle both?
You died.
Sure. What do I do with this one?
We're looking for anything at this point because we escalated. I've already had a 3.7 and a 4.7, so I don't want anything below a 4.7. So, and that's measuring the electricity around us. So the average for this location is between 18 to 22.
Okay.
And that's just an average, and that is still astronomically high for being outdoors. So like most of our other locations don't give us numbers like that.
Okay.
But I'll explain a lot more about that, like once you start seeing some craziness go on with that guy.
So we should be higher than 4.7?
Sometimes I come in here, I have all zeros.
Okay.
5 out of 7 nights a week, it's going to give me an 18 to 22.
Okay.
I just also wanted to show you what showed up on my.
Oh.
We're still near the big red barn.
Yeah.
So to me, like.
That's so funny.
And she heard 40% off, which is the number that I used.
Yeah.
That's funny. So if I have the word art show up, or she does, that would be even funnier. Like, thanks, Art. I appreciate you showing up tonight.
Yeah. Dude is missing? This is so hard.
Not an easy job. Dude is missing.
Keelan, just like make a motion if I need to take his head off. Do something. I mean,
She can't. I got her double fisted right now.
I am doing two things.
oh.
By the way, big red barn.
Oh. Oh, right, because you don't have it out the whole time, right?
Right.
Thank you. Those lights, just so you know, are solar lights, so it's not going to give an effect on that number device.
Okay.
So a lot of people ask me, "There's Nick, there's lights in here. How can you possibly like they're solar lights? It's not the same type of EMF. I tested them."
It's heard 19th century.
I have no idea where that music is coming from.
Is it the rooftop?
Maybe it's bouncing off that building, and that's why I was looking over there. I literally just said. Any numbers?
Mm-mm.
Nothing?
No, it's at 0.7.
Yeah, that's natural. Remember, the Earth gives us up to 1.1.
Okay.
So weird to shut down anyway.
One 1.8.
1.8.
Yeah. 19.7. Now it's at 7, 20, 7.8, 40.
Somebody's hanging out back here.
Is that normal that it jumps around like that?
So that's what you want.
Oh, 26.4. Yeah, it's like jumping.
So if it was coming from a man-made object, like a cell phone, it would pulse like 40, 38, 46.
Uh-huh.
Like it would pulsate in around that same area, but you've been literally like back and forth all over the place.
Yeah.
So yeah, man-made
wow.
objects don't do that.
Oh.
Like that's somebody back here just coming by and saying hello, like, oh shit, Nick passed off the torch. Let's see who this is.
So then is she supposed to be like near wherever you, like, is it all kind of the same?
So it just depends. So the EMF readings are measured in a different way for me. So I mean, right now she's missing a lot. Just so you know.
Yeah, yeah.
Like most people like that have done this, like they have Tourette syndrome. Like it's nonstop.
Yeah.
So she's just missing things, and that's okay.
Yeah.
So that's why the recording is there, and I'll be able to spot check it.
You waving at me?
No.
Oh. You need to give me some sort of signal.
We will. We're gonna give you another minute.
Oh, okay.
My thing was going like up and down.
Your what?
This was going up and down.
She had some pretty decent EMF, so she was asking like, how does it correlate
Like,
with what
were
you're
you
doing?
supposed to be over here?
Oh, I was wondering that. Does it matter?
No, but do you remember what I told you these were?
Spirit.
Black spirit. We're in the servant
Oh,
slave
oh,
quarters.
oh, okay.
It's. I'm not gonna. No, that's just dumb.
I think it maybe said hand of God, but I'm not sure.
You're gonna get a lot of religious terms in the holy city. Ooh, that's a bad vinegar smell. But at the same time, like, unless it said the word servant and slave, I can't really count that we have, like, that's what's going on. What did she just say?
Maybe.
Okay.
Did she die during childbirth?
No.
Okay.
See? This is why I don't tell you guys all the answers.
9.5.
Okay. So at this point, I would count your barometer at 25, like that's your base. Because the little blinky light guy that I put away only goes to 25.
Okay.
So we would have never even known about that 40 because it would have maxed out.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah,
That's
yeah,
why they
yeah.
use them on TV.
Got it.
Black chicken.
303. Or 3303.
$7.7. Now it went away again. $7.1.
Might have just said England. But at the end of the day, he was.
Your video. I'll take the EMF meter just so you can operate things. Just figured you might want to have two things operate. So we did get the word black when we were standing back here, and she did get all the way up to a 40. What I explained to Caitlin was that in the events that we were just using the little blinky light device, it only goes to 25. Now you can see why they use those on TV.
Yeah.
We would have never have known about that 40 if we were only using the blinky light device. So let me put that thing in perspective for you. Things around your home. Your TV gives off a 40 to a 60 milligauss. There is no electricity in here. There's no reason why you should have been having anything. That cell phone that you're holding might give off a pulse of a 2, maybe. just because there is no signal, because it's not an active cell phone.
Yeah.
Your cell phone, if you were getting a phone call and it was like literally right on top of it, it might actually go up to maybe a 15, maybe a 20. But again, I was telling her we actually get about an average of 18 to 20 out of this location.
Oh.
The highest I've ever seen that device go in my 14 years of doing this has been right here.
Really?
It actually errored out 3 times within 15 minutes and stayed in triple digits for
Wow.
the rest of that 15 minutes.
Oh my god.
When I say it errored out, it went over 200. I don't even know how high it went.
That's
so
crazy.
it was crazy. We left. The reason why I actually have epilepsy. That's too much electricity in the air for the guy with the neurological disorder. Got the point? See why it's a safety piece? Like I always have that out. That's why I can't use the little blinky light device. I need to know the hurtful amounts.
Wow.
So again, it's a big deal. And I was like just starting to get like a little bit of a headache kind of thing. So it was a like, all right, it's starting. We need to go. Yep, we need to go. So I don't make stuff up. I don't put my feelings into this. So if I'm like not feeling well, we're going.
Yeah.
So that way people know like it's a legitimate thing. So let's cover these answers. And normally when I break out the tablet, it's just to cover the answers, kind of give you a snapshot of like what the heck we were just trying to do and accomplish, and give you all of the answers. Not to mention I need to give you all of the damn answers. So that way I don't forget any of the questions, because I'm going to also tell you all of the questions that I give to a full group of 10 to 12 people, just so you know what I look for when I get back to the office. So I make this as quick as I possibly can. This is Eliza Lucas Pinckney. I use her maiden name because she's the second wife named Eliza from Charles back to back. First wife died January 1744, if you recall. She married him in 1744, same year, 5 months later. So the first wife also had a maiden name that started with the letter L. So a lot of times I'll ask one of my spirit box or communication device people, go find out which Eliza we're dealing with by asking her maiden name. It starts with the letter L, go have fun. The first wife was Eliza Lamb. So Lamb and Lucas are the names that we'll get. More than likely it's going to be Lucas, just so you know. Lamb doesn't usually show up here like that often.
I didn't hear either of those words.
Which, by the way, this second wife married Charles at the age of 22. He was 45. So 23-year age gap between them. Creepy then, creepy now. You guys got the point on that one. Yes, I've had to put my foot in my mouth. So the questions that I was focused on were what happened to the mansion. This is fire damage from the Great Fire of 1861. You did hear 351. It's a close but no cigar for me. And again,
What was the number?
61.
Okay.
You heard the number 351.
Got it.
So to me, like, I like things to be exact.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes I'm even like, it's not spelled the same, but if it's the same phonetic sound,
No, it's 3351.
no, you just said 351.
I said yeah. I think there was another 3 before
You
that.
had a 303 was the number you said before that, and then
I'm gonna
351.
trust you. I don't know.
I wrote them down as you said them. That's
Okay.
why. If we get the word fire, burning, or blaze, we will often get the date, like I said. So 2 or 3 of those numbers, 12, 11, 61 is the exact date. You can imagine my surprise when we had 12, 11, 61, and the word fire show up in the same evening, and I did not know what it meant. This is how I learned about the things I'm telling you tonight. It came from a previous investigation.
Wow.
So again, you can see all of that. Again, you'll see as we kind of move through the night. The city of Charleston doesn't tell me what I have to teach you guys.
Yeah.
Nobody's freaking coming here to an empty
Yeah,
parking
yeah.
lot. By the way,
So is this is here?
yeah, so
Okay.
this is the back of the house. So we are actually like inside of this whole area right here. So like this little area, oh, sorry, I'm going too quick, would have been like up in that top right area.
Okay, the back,
So
the
this
back
is
room,
actually
okay.
like taken from back here.
Got it.
Every tour, anything here in town that talks about any of the death around town is going to tell you about a great fire, because we've had dozens. That's a map of Charleston. The orange is the fire that took out the mansion. You're standing on the tiny little green dot right there. So it literally went all the way across the peninsula, and it took the Ashley River to put it out. So it's about $9 million worth of damage back then. So just like to give back at least a perspective of how big this fire. Yeah, today's money, don't ask. I have no idea. I've tried the inflation rate, but it changes every damn day, so there's no point. Now, I didn't give you questions about the children, even though you heard the word children.
Children and youth, yeah.
So
Child.
the reason why I don't hand the questions about the children out to strangers, because it could make her upset, because sometimes you guys poke the bear in the wrong way, even though you didn't intend to.
Okay.
So I'm going to give you...
Oh, so because I said, did she die during childbirth? Or
could have been.
when I said...
And I'll hang on to this one because we don't always get EMF here, and I usually look for a baseline of an 8 or higher, just because the lampposts are near us. Oh, by the way, I also I forgot to give you the other reference of something else around your home. So I told you your TV goes between 40 to 60 on this guy. Your microwave heating up your food is about 150 to 170.
Yeah.
So again, you can measure that on the outside. So that's how when I've seen it go up to like 199 and then error out in other locations, I kind of knew what the error were when we had that a few months ago.
I see.
So every ghost tour comes down here, just so you know.
Yeah, seems so.
Yeah, well, it's actually really light. In the summertime, like we are fighting for spots.
Really?
That's part of the reason why I was actually going to take it out of my route. The problem with that for me is that this guy follows me around. Just imagine this guy's story has been told for the past 40 to 50 years, and I'm the only one that can talk back. And so it's just really been ramping up the past, we'll just say, year and a half to 2 years. So
Ghost follows you?
yeah, around the location.
First I thought you meant like
Timid.
that man.
No, this guy's not timid. He's fucking with us right now. So the ghost will follow us around. Like, obviously I told you we're going to have bleed over from him into our next location. It's going to be basically, if you can see the street lamp over there,
Yeah.
we're going to be heading over there when we leave here.
Okay.
And he also shows up at our last stop because his house that he lived at was nearby. So he likes to slip through, and that was the new space for me last year. So I started to notice, like, you bastard, like, why the hell you keep coming through here? And then it just started to tie together.
Do you
Like,
worry that it like follow you home?
No.
I guess he's not gonna hurt you.
Well, not only that, but there are things in and around my bag that kind of keep shit where it's supposed to be.
Oh, okay.
So when I first started doing this, almost 5 years ago, you guys were bringing ghosts with you, and they're going home with me because I have all the communication. So I was the one ending up with a seizure by the end of the night, and I had to text my wife a jumbled text to come pick my ass up.
Oh, that's so scary.
So then she started calling all of my psychic friends, because that's my circle of friends,
Right.
psychics and mediums, and they all started sending me little satchels that I have little rituals that I have to do based on moon phase, quarter of the year, so forth and so on. So I swap them out
That's
all the time.
dedication.
That's what I do for a living. I
Yeah.
go and I make sure that I'm safe to make sure you guys can be entertained for the job. So again, if I have a seizure in front of you, yes, they're meant inside my bag, but at the same time, is that a good review that's going to be left on Google? Hell no, it's not.
I would never complain.
Yeah, well, people have.
Right.
Is my hand covering something?
No.
No, I can hold it like this.
Yeah, you just want to try to keep the camera on your left. That's all. Yeah, the camera's in your lower left-hand corner. It's on the attachment.
Oh.
Yep. So when these groups pass through, obviously you're going to lower your camera just so they don't know what the hell we're doing.
Right.
Again, we're the weirdos. So,
Right.
and that's actually one of the guys that we'll recommend. If you and I were talking about other tour guides.
Yeah.
He's one of the guys. I think he actually got wind of. I was in the newspaper on Halloween. Like I had the news team following me around with all the lights and whatnot, and he actually saw what was going on and then seen me in the newspaper. So he made a comment about it like a couple of days, weeks later, and was just like, "Dude, was that you in the paper?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'd be your company that normally takes the #1 spot for Halloween, because I'm the freaking weirdo." But yeah, that was a fun night, like having a whole like literal camera crew,
That's
like lights in the
wild.
whole nine. Like I had to tell them like lights off.
I was gonna say, wouldn't that mess up with all the?
It messed with me because it's too bright. Like I can't see.
But the electronics and stuff weren't a problem.
No, not at all. I actually made them part of it. So like the journalist that was like that had her camera crew with her,
Yeah.
I made her part of it. So like she got to work, like that was the whole nine. I gave her a spirit box for the night. I explained everything back and forth. And it wasn't a full sold out night. I think we only had like 6 or 7 people that night, so I still had stuff to like swap out with her, so she could keep testing it. But yeah, it was a pretty big piece for me.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
And then actually, I think those links are all on I have a it's a as featured in because I'm on a lot of podcasts. Obviously for what I do out here. I was just in American Paranormal Magazine last month, and then this month I'm going to be featured in the UK magazine for the Private Society for Psychical Research.
Whoa.
So, yeah, they're reaching out to me because they're getting wind of my scoring system. And they're like,
That's
so what the hell's
awesome.
going on with this? Like, how does that work? So, like, let me write you an article, and I will let you know how it works, and you can publish it, and I'll write the article just for your mag. So, but yeah, lots and lots of work. Like, this is all I do. Like, she was asking me, like, how the hell do you get into this?
I mean, it sounds like a ton of work.
It is. It's a lot of writing.
Yeah.
So, but again, the marketing is all done by me. Like, I'm a one-man show.
Yeah.
My wife kind of like took a step back because she's focused on her new degrees. But she was involved with all of like my logo work, my book covers for my fiction work.
Oh, that's cool.
You know, and that kind of stuff. But she totally switched careers,
Yeah.
and she is now going to school to be a vet.
Oh.
Wow.
So she just wrapped up her master's degree. She's got a few more bachelor courses she has to wrap up because her photography and graphic design degrees are obviously of the arts, and veterinary science is science.
Yep.
So now she has to go take a few science
my
courses while we're
God.
here, and then we're going to have to move to either Florida or Louisiana. So of course I'll be near New Orleans or St. Augustine, 2 more haunted cities. So I
That'd
need
be
to
cool. Start.
Well, I had to figure out, like, I was the one who had to choose which city, like, which school she can apply to based on what I did.
And there
for
aren't
her.
that
That's
many,
cool.
right? I've heard it's very hard to get into vet school.
Oh, for vet schools, you're absolutely right. There's
Yeah.
not many at all.
Yeah.
I thought you said haunted cities. I'm like, oh, I
Oh,
can pretty
no,
much go
no,
anywhere.
no.
I just need tourism.
Yeah.
Because, again, that's the gist of my public is the tourists that come
Yeah.
through. But yeah, I had to pick I chose New Orleans, but she prefers St. Augustine.
Yes.
Because
St. Augustine is apparently beautiful too.
It is. We vacation there. That was part of the reason why I didn't want to go there. So that
okay.
way I had somewhere new.
Yeah.
And I can actually have friends.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
New Orleans, like, they're gonna love me over there.
That's
Oh, yeah,
so,
yeah.
yeah.
Like
That's
in here,
probably
I'm
very-
on the DL. I don't overly advertise on purpose. Again, this could be considered sacrilegious. We're in the deep south. So
right.
again, I keep playing. I don't know when you guys who booked this or how you booked it, but
Yeah.
I'm sure you noticed I wasn't the number one thing
No.
to do. I was like number 7 or 8.
Yeah.
The reason why is because I wanted you guys to see all of the $20 and $30 tours that are the major companies, like
Right.
who that guy works for. See those, and then see the guy with the equipment, and then the price isn't so jarring.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Again,
yeah.
I was into marketing, obviously,
Yeah.
when I was in retail. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, that's kind of how I pieced it together. So that way, when you guys do find me, you're the right people.
Yeah.
Because again, I don't want people just like, oh, this is the most expensive guy. He must have a high education. I do, but that's not the best tour for
We
you
like
if
weird.
that's what you're
We
looking
like
for.
the weird,
Yeah, that's what I want. I want the weird.
and we're weird.
I do see a lot of skeptics, believe it or not. And the reason why my ticket prices are the way they are is because all of those skeptics were showing up all the time.
And ruining it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you want to talk about no activity going on? Nothing.
Wow.
So I was the joke. Like, they want to show up and sing Ghostbusters all night? Yeah, I'm going to jack the prices up.
Ugh.
Yeah. So I found that sweet spot of the ticket price that you guys are at now. That's what people are willing to pay for an authentic experience. And I might see one skeptic a week versus one every tour.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So, you guys get the point. Anyway,
Yeah.
let's talk about why we're here. How's our word list coming?
Circumstance? Oh, I forgot I could check.
Yeah, you can check it. Give me the last 3. Circumstance.
Own, gain, diminish property, fight,
I've had timid before.
Okay. So I kind of know where we're at with things. Yeah, not a whole lot going on there. I mean, fight, yes, but it's very vague. You're going to see why. So this is Philadelphia Alley. You guys make me talk a lot. I'm going to take a quick drink.
Sorry.
My wife always knows when I have females in my group because she sees like when I get home, because I don't get home until like 3-4 o'clock in the morning,
Oh, God.
depending on what I'm doing. So if I'm obviously she knows I only had 2 people for the night, and I'm home late, then she's just like, you had a bunch of women that wanted to know your life story again, didn't
Oh
you?
my
I'm like,
God.
yes, I did.
We can't help it.
Well, also, I don't know. I'm sure you have
Rebuild,
a specific way
is that
that you
it?
work, but don't worry about having. Well, anyway, don't worry about giving us stuff like right away. If that's how it works,
What do you
then
mean?
you have to. Like, don't stay up all night for us. You know what I mean?
I don't keep track of time is my problem. If I'm having fun, I'm having fun.
I got you.
Yeah, it's not a matter of like I'm seeking extra
You get
shit.
sucked into it.
Yeah, I just get sucked into good company.
Right.
So take that as a compliment.
Yeah.
Don't look at it in the other respect, like, hey, I'm working. No, I'm like, fucking go something. Anyway, so this is Philadelphia Alley. This used to be called Duelers Alley. This is where some of the duels used to occur for the city of Charleston.
Those are wild.
So every ghost tour comes down here, like I said, and they all tell the same damn story. I'm just going to give you a few extra details because we're ghost hunting, not campfire and marshmallow kind of ghost tour. Let's get into it. Now, and again, if somebody walks by and ruins this for me like they did a couple of nights ago, I'm going to be pissed. I always like to make, like, why we're here a big surprise. And somebody walked by and said, did you just... I'm like, stop.
Oh,
They don't know the story yet. They don't know. So just keep walking. But anyway, so this kind of an interesting piece of it is that a doctor moves down here from Rhode Island. His name is Dr. Joseph Brown Ladd. I said his name slowly because if the song Brown Eyed Girl shows up while we're here, even though you're not listening, it's part of his name. We get it all the time. So yeah, so just kind of keep
I
that in
feel
mind.
like there's so many things that I need to be listening for.
Not
like,
necessarily. You're gonna have
Armageddon
links to all
was
this shit
playing a lot. I don't know. Or
No.
Aerosmith.
He moves down here because he's supposed to get married to his fiancée, Amanda. If you recall, we did have the name Amanda on there, but way out of context, not at the right location. So Amanda just inherited a bunch of money from her dead parents. She's an attorney helping her out with all of this cash. The attorney thinks that Dr. Ladd is just after Amanda's money. So he tells Amanda to get rid of the doctor. So he comes down here to basically prove that he's not after her money. And by the way, whenever a large group walks like we'll just get out of their way, let them move on. They'll stare at you because you're wearing blinky lights. You guys got the point. So I always kind of...
blinky light.
Yeah, I say blinky a lot. My TikTokers love it, so I just got used to saying it all the time. I think even somebody hashtagged one of my damn videos with the words, "You didn't say Blinky Blinky" in that one. I'm like, damn it. By the way, it's the normal size of it.
It's crazy.
Yeah, we are allowed to go to 20. So I only go to 10 on the weekends, 12 during the week. Like, that's my max.
Yeah.
That's it. And if somebody's like, oh, my cousin showed up, too bad.
Yeah.
Don't care.
There's a lot going
I'm not
on.
money hungry. I'd rather have the quality over quantity.
Yeah.
And that's just kind of how I work. Anyway, back to Blinky Blinky Lights. So, it is funny. Now, he comes down to Charleston, right? Yeah, that's where I was at. So he comes into town, and on his way in, the coachman he had set him up to be robbed and killed. It's like having a really bad Uber driver, even though I told you guys you're going to be taking an Uber later. Right? I know, really bad advice. But somebody was walking by and seeing what was about to happen because he knew the coachman. Somebody walking by, his name was Ralph Isaacs. I stop and slow down there because Ralph has the same initials as where the doctor came from. Rhode Island, Ralph Isaacs. The letters RI were showing up all the time on regular spirit boxes, so I bought a new device. It's called an Envoy. It's basically a digital Ouija board. Works just like the EMF meter in my pocket, and anytime there's a spike, it gives us a letter. I was hoping that we were going to get the letters RI because it's very specific. Can't mistake it.
Yeah.
We've gotten it about 6 times in the past year and a half.
Wow.
So again, I like to give stats. Back to Ralph. He tells Dr. Ladd, dude, I know this guy, the coachman. He's going to try to kill you. That's exactly what he's going to do. He's got a gunman inside. So he's like, come with me. I got friends at 59 Church Street. You can rent a room from them. You'll be safe. Doc took him up on the offer, and they're now friends. So the longer the doctor stays here, the more money he's making. He's proving his point that he's not after Amanda's money. So she gets wind of this. She's moving down so they can be married, and Dr. Ladd then became known as the Whistling Doctor. This is the reason why I hate the damn stories, because it's a giant cliche. Every haunted city you're ever going to visit is going to have a cliched whistling ghost. I'm just going to put it out there. We all have one. Ours is a doctor. There is legitimacy to this. We're going to get to it. Let's talk about the duel. Dr. Ladd and Ralph go see plays together. They can't sit next to each other because the doctor makes more money. That's the hierarchy of Charleston. He gets better seats. Now, on the way home from seeing Richard III one night, they're walking home and they're arguing over the new actress they just saw that was new to town. Neither one of them has ever seen her before, and the doc thought she was great. Ralph did not. It turns into Ralph then insulting the doctor's fiancée, Amanda. Back home in Rhode Island, it got really ugly. They went their separate ways. Now, you already know Ralph has friends around town. He goes to his buddies at the newspaper, places an ad in the paper telling the whole city of Charleston what he thinks of the doctor. Kind of a, you're a disgrace to society kind of bullshit. Doc saw the ad, rebutted with, let's go to Dueler's Alley and settle this. Somebody's going to die. Keep in mind, yes, this did start over an actress. Kind of dumb.
Yeah.
2 gentlemen came down here back to back, took their 10 paces away from each other. They turn. Doc points his gun in the air, shoots his one shot. He did not want to kill his friend. He just needed the courage to show up to the fight.
Oh.
Ralph has his one bullet. Puts it in the kneecap on the doctor. Doc didn't die either. He fell to the ground. His friends picked him up, took him home to 59 Church Street. He died 10 days later, November 2nd of 1786, after refusing medical treatment.
Wow.
I'm going to point out 2 things. First off, it is 1786. Gunshot wounds back then, a lot different than what we know of them now.
Right.
Secondly, he is a doctor. He probably just thought he had lead poisoning, tried to bleed it out himself, but obviously he failed because he died. Now, I know, I say that very jokingly. Most people don't get that, so thank you. Now, most ghost tours tell you, they all tell you, when you're down here, it is always this quiet. It could be a hustling, bustling Saturday afternoon on East Bay Street. You cannot hear it over here.
Oh.
They tell you to listen for the whistles. We have Caitlin's camera recording, plus my voice recorder. If we're going to capture a disembodied whistle, it's going to be on one of those 2 devices. However, your device.
Yeah.
We have gotten the whistling part of the song and the word doctor of a commercial immediately after it. Dozens and dozens of times to the point where I stopped counting them.
Wow.
Like, that's another reason why I don't stop coming here.
Yeah.
Not to mention, this is probably the most gorgeous place
It's
in all of
really
Charleston.
pretty.
It's so pretty.
So,
Oh, I got challenge.
that is a competitor, competition, and challenge often show up here. And it's not just from your word list. So take that for what it is. So, by the way, if you're going to try this on your own, I know the 2 of you are leaving tomorrow. If you do walk through here and use your voice recorders from your phones, just keep in mind every local knows the damn story. Anybody walking up and down Cumberland Street or Queen Street, we all throw a whistle down this alley, me included. Now, they only throw a whistle down here since I've been thrown out. Let's talk about that because that's the fun part of the story.
Ooh.
Now, it also tells us about why we're going to the next location we're going.
Rebecca? Nobody?
No, not to me, but we are next to a cemetery. We could have a little bit of a little blip coming over. Again, we get a lot of weird names around this area. But the alley didn't go all the way through the way we came in. There used to be a wall up there before it was Dueler's Alley. So we're talking like 1700s, right? So the reason why is because this was called Cow Alley. This is where they kept the livestock for the city of Charleston. So cows, chickens, and goats are down here. What does that mean for you guys, and why did I get kicked out of here? Down at the end are bricks that are older than the ones you're standing on. Those ones were laid first. Those were sun-dried bricks from slave children. There's a full handprint from a slave child in one of those bricks down there, and fingerprint swipes in others. And I used to take my groups all the way through for a history lesson. There's nothing paranormal about it. You already know how I feel about staring at a headstone. That's the last place you're going to find that kid. He doesn't want to be there staring at that damn brick.
Right.
November 26th, 2020, my entire group of 10 is huddled around that damn brick, waiting for something to happen. I know nothing's going to happen, because he's not there.
Right.
I'm also trying to be respectful to the beautiful mansion at the end of the alley. We're standing outside his kitchen window. He gets pissed, he comes out, he's the new owner, and he starts screaming. My daughter, who was on the tour that night, thought it was hysterical because her father's getting yelled at, and we moved on. The next day was Thanksgiving. I told you I worked in upper management for retail. It was with Walmart. You guys scarred me for life because you guys like to fight over towels on Thanksgiving. I don't work on Thanksgiving anymore ever since I left that
I
damn
do not
company.
go there. We don't do that.
It's a joke that everybody should be able to get. So you've seen the people of Walmart
Yes,
videos.
yes, yes.
So, the next day was the 28th of November. I got a hold of my partner that brought me into tourism. We're not partnered up anymore. Obviously, I work alone. But I told him what happened, trying to figure out what to do next, because I was still new at this. So he laughed at me just like my daughter did. He's like, dude, you can only go down halfway. Otherwise, it's residential. It's off limits for tours.
Oh.
So he says, you got to reroute your group, man. It's Black Friday. I'm sold out again. So I was kind of like, shit. So what I told my team that night, and it's again, full group of 10 people, I don't believe in the next story. I've never had anything happen over there. I've been there dozens of times. Nothing on my equipment goes off. And I'm into vampires, not pirates. We're obviously discussing pirates next, in case you didn't pick up on that. Now, before we left, somebody with a spirit box heard the name Anne. I didn't tell them which pirate we were going to be discussing. The female pirate, Anne Bonny. I was like, oh shit, maybe we're going to get something. We go up and around the corner. I told them a little bit I did know about pirates in Charleston, because again, I'm not a big fan of pirates, at least I wasn't back then. Yeah, we're going to get into that. But somebody with a different spirit box heard the number 300. I didn't know what it meant, so I wrote it down, did the research. We were there November 28th of 2020. Anne Bonny's trial for piracy was November 28th of 1720. The exact 300th anniversary of her pirate trial.
Wow.
Now, I normally get the wows. I was actually quite pissed. Let me explain. Master's degree creative writing, bachelor degrees in journalism and in English. That's 2 separate degrees. So again,
Did you go to Emory?
no.
Why?
It came up.
Oh.
I saw it. You didn't.
I didn't see it.
Now, whenever I'm researching anything, especially things with the paranormal, I need things to be factual. Pirate stories come from pirate lore, which was written 100 years after the golden age of piracy. That's the days of Blackbeard and Anne Bonny.
Yeah.
Right? So whenever they were hearing things for those first year and a half, I had to read a million books to be able to verify what the hell was going on. So and it was a subject that I wasn't super interested in.
Yeah.
I've read more books on pirates than I've ever wanted to. I've played video games with pirates in them. I've seen more documentaries on pirates just to get different versions of these stories. Where we're going, it is a 50-50 roll of the dice if Anne will even be there. So
I didn't know there were women pirates, so I thought they were in
we're going to be discussing 2 of them. With that story. Now, I will explain why we're there at that location, but obviously the 2 of you can see the raised emotion of Dr. Ladd's death starting here, even though he did die at home.
Right.
Because obviously the raised emotion was with his bestie. So you guys got the point on that. Now, you will be getting things from Dr. Ladd over there and Anne Bonny, hopefully, once we get through the history.
Okay.
I will speed through that story because there's a lot there, and I know everybody always likes to get back to work instead of hearing 2 stories back to back, and we didn't get to work here. So you can continue to have your camera running if you want to, Caitlin. And then I'm going to have you hang on to that word list over there as well, because the EMF over there isn't super exciting. I actually get excited at a 2.5 over there, just because we don't see much. So I'm going to let you handle something a little bit more exciting than just the EMF reader. But you're definitely going to continue to listen in, and then I will explain the stops after that. Like, that one's going to change things up a little bit.
Okay.
Any other major questions on dueling?
No.
Okay, let's go on about Rated R Pirates. Nobody got my dad joke? That means I have to take it further.
I didn't hear it, I don't
I
think.
said, let's go talk about Rated R Pirates.
No, I didn't. I don't.
I don't get it.
Arr.
Oh.
And normally, when people don't get it, I take it the next step, which
R.
is,
You have to throw in the R.
if the letter R isn't a pirate's favorite letter, then what is it?
I.
It's not I. It's a good guess, but it's wrong. It must be the C.
Oh. That's good.
Well, I guess you can have the same. Seriously?
Yeah, it's really not. I never noticed this. So, like,
Yeah.
that it was so much.
Well, also, we're talking a lot just to each other
Yeah.
with one other person.
That's
versus
true.
People who are used to it, and also I'm in my headphones. later.
I'll have to say she's in her headphones. Like she's going in there.
TRA. Some choral singing.
What? Coral?
What?
Coral?
Like there were multiple
Choral.
chorus. I know, I saw it. Thank you. Like multiple songs that were just in the chorus. So I decided multiples choral. Multiple chor. What kind of singing is it if it's a chorus?
A choir.
Right.
No, not the group itself. Whatever.
Choruses. There are many choruses?
No, there are not many choruses. I'm trying to say there are songs with choruses in them.
Yeah, choruses.
But if you're saying, like, I'm hearing a lot of pop music. I see it. I'm hearing a lot of choral
I
music.
don't know.
Choir. I'm hearing a lot of choir music, okay?
I don't think that's right.
Yeah. There you go.
By the way, I was going to point out one thing. We're going to move to the back so we don't have to listen to him. But that is St. Philip's Steeple. So just a weird small fun fact about Charleston. No building can be taller than that steeple.
We were
talking
just
about
we were
that.
just wondering that because the hotel we're at says that it's the highest rooftop bar in Charleston, and we're like,
It's
it's
not that
definitely
high.
not very tall.
It's not allowed to be.
That's what, and then we're figuring it was something like that. I find that so interesting. Just the general concept of airspace.
Oh,
See
Scruple is not
anything
right.
with all of our skyline in it, it's mainly going to be church steeples, like higher than everything else.
Yep.
Just because they want to keep that name of the Holy City.
Yeah.
This is where I get to put the bag down for a few because my back is drenched. Just so you know. Not that you guys needed that big sweaty mess.
That's okay.
But anyway, what else did you hear along the way besides a bunch of chorale,
I
choriasis?
didn't hear a lot. I said I didn't hear a lot. It was a lot of static.
Okay. Anything on the word list, Taylor?
Scruple. That's it.
Oh, that makes complete
What
sense.
is it?
Scruple.
Oh.
A disagreement. So that makes sense with the alley, right? Because they had a
Mhm,
scruple.
mhm.
That would make sense to the time period as well.
Mhm.
So I'm completely. We've seen that word there before. It's been a long time, but I've seen it there before. And only from that word box because nobody's saying the word scruple on the fucking radio.
Right.
So I know, right?
No.
Speaking in
Somebody-
the parlance of their time.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So we're here because of the little tiny building over there. So those are not crosses on the building.
Oh.
Those are earthquake bolts. So if nobody told you what those are, they're basically turnbuckles. So if we have another earthquake, like what we did in 1886, you can tighten the turnbuckles and it tightens the building so it doesn't incur any further damage.
Wow.
It's a great idea, it just doesn't work.
Yeah.
So I know, because everyone says, I usually get the, oh wow, that's a cool idea. No,
I've
it's dumb.
never heard of that.
Yeah. Well, Californians, when I meet them, like they just laugh their ass
Yeah.
off at me because they know it doesn't work. Now, even the apartment building, the brick building behind it, has them on every single floor if you look close enough. They're peach squares.
Oh yeah, that's
So,
what that's. Okay.
That's what those are. So you guys may have seen them around town in the form
Yeah.
of lion heads and pineapples and all kinds of Charleston term bullshit.
Oh.
But the reason why I bring up the crosses is because it's actually part of the reason why we're here. Those are the first set of earthquake bolts that Charleston ever put in because that's the oldest government building in South Carolina. It was finished in 1713. Now that building was being constructed at the same time that Anne Bonny was coming here to start her new life. So it is something she would recognize. It's what I call a familiar. Okay, so if you don't watch the TV shows these days, especially as of the past 6 months, they're using a new device on there called a Boo Buddy. So a Boo Buddy is basically a teddy bear, like an old style Teddy Ruxpin, and they put a K2 meter in it, so if a child comes near it, it lights up and says, oh, that tickles. Like, it's super creepy, and that's the reason why they use them on TV. But they use it where the child goes, because the child would recognize the bear as a toy. It is a common toy. So think of that concept with the building. We don't have many buildings this old. So that's why it's a 50-50 roll of the dice if she will be here, because we have a handful in the same era, just not directly within the path of where we are actually allowed to be. So we'll kind of see how this goes. Now, I told you I'd speed through this, so let's kind of get into the middle of it. Sorry, emergency?
No, it's my alarm.
I just didn't. Yeah,
No,
people
thank
have
you.
kids. That's
I
why I say
agree.
take the call.
I appreciate that.
What's your alarm for?
Medicine?
Oh, I was gonna say you're supposed to be in bed right now.
No.
My wife has
Although
an
I
alarm
do
for
think it turned
literally
into
everything.
sleep mode.
For when?
Just, yeah.
Go ahead. I totally get it. I have birds at home, so they're in a room like adjacent to like the living room, so you can't always like see them. You can always hear them because
Yeah.
they're birds. But she has an alarm for when I'm at work to cover them at 9:30. Otherwise, she will forget because if I'm home, I always remember they're my birds.
Yeah.
So,
That makes sense.
but at any rate, so the building took 10 years to build. Does that sound like a government small building? 10 years? No, not at all. I'll answer for you. But anyway, the history begins right in the middle of its construction, 1708, because again, it did take 10 years to build. A young lady moves here from Ireland. Her name is Anne Cormack. She comes here with her father and his mistress. The mistress is Anne's mother.
Lots of Anns. Was this the same Ann?
It's the same Anne.
Okay.
It's like, wait a minute, how many Annes did we discuss?
I'm
Only one.
like, there's just a lot happening.
So much happening. Are you with me that the mistress is her mom?
No. Okay.
Wait, no.
I'll slow it down. She comes here with her father
Yeah.
and his mistress, the girlfriend.
Oh, I see.
The mistress is her mother.
Got it, got it, got it.
The three of them are running away from her father's angry wife.
Got it. That makes sense.
How pissed was that wife that she kicked them out of the damn country
Yeah,
in
that's right.
1708?
Yeah.
There's no planes. It's by boat.
Yeah.
They land in Georgetown. That's between us and Myrtle Beach. It's about 90 minutes north of here. Dad bought a plantation up there. Mom died pretty quickly. That means Dad is now sending young Anne down here to sell things from that plantation to keep things afloat. Now, Anne back home in Ireland was said to be a badass even when she was back home as a little girl. They say when she was 7, 8, 9 years old, remember it's pirate lore, nothing is exact, they say she killed a servant with a knife to the belly. I just like to kind of give you the concept and mentality of this young lady as we move forward, just so you have who this woman is. Now, building's done in 1713. By 1715, a couple years after, pirates are starting to come through Charlestown. Anne is stoked. Reason why? She's going to fall in love so she can earn her freedom, just like a man. It is a man's world during these times. The first guy she fell in love with, and I said first slowly because there's a handful, we're going to cover them all. That's what makes the story so damn good. First guy is James Bonny. You already know where this one's going. It's the same woman. She marries this guy. You guys got that now? So
Yeah.
Anne Cormack became Anne Bonny after they eloped to
got it.
Jamaica because Dad didn't approve because he's a filthy pirate. Now, when they get down there to Jamaica and they're married, Anne realizes her new husband is not the Captain Jack Sparrow that she was hoping for. This guy turns out to be a privateer. That makes him a spy for the British and a coward.
Uh-oh.
This isn't who she wants. She falls in love again. Guy number 2. I told you, I'll keep tally. Guy number 2 is John Rackham, but everybody calls him Calico Jack. This is the guy they based your Johnny Depp character off of, in case you were wondering. Now, Jack has his own ship, he has his own crew. Anne wants to be part of the crew. You can't put a female on a pirate ship. Do you know why?
Unlucky.
It is. That's bad luck. Good call. Thank you
But
for
for
keeping
some reason, the mermaid's okay. I don't get that.
They're not human.
I don't know. Whatever.
I just have a mermaid on the front of the pirate ship.
But a female being bad luck is an actual thing, not just from the Disney film. Just so you know, like that was a real thing back then. So he makes a deal with her. If you dress like a guy and look like the crew, you could be part of the crew. She's okay with this because Dad used to cross-dress her as a boy apprentice back home in Ireland to hide her from his wife. She gets it. Man's
Oh,
world.
wow.
Now,
Wow.
we're all adults here. Put 2 and 2 together. She is a female in Jack's quarters. She's eventually going to get pregnant. You cannot have a pregnant pirate dude on the crew. Somebody's going to figure out that she's a girl, right? So before she starts to show that she's pregnant, because she did get pregnant, he drops her off in Cuba. Have the baby here with these friends of mine. They'll help you out and come back later. She goes and has that baby, but returns without a baby. We have no idea what happened to the child. None of my research has ever discovered it, or has it been disclosed. She also comes back dressed as a female. This makes Jack pretty pissed off. Everybody's now going to know he let a girl on the ship. So to make him even more mad, she's going to go flirting with the pirate crew he just captured. They're down below deck.
Oh, no.
Guy number 3. Guy number 3 turns out to be a female, dressed like a guy, to be part of the crew that Calico Jack just captured.
Awesome.
You guys got that one nice and easy.
Yeah.
So her name is Mary Reed. She went by Mark Reed to become part of that pirate crew that was captured by Jack. So Anne and Mary became friends, maybe lovers. We're not really sure because of the time frame.
Right.
But the British find out where they are. They send a whole fleet of ships to come take down one pirate ship. The rumor is that Anne and Mary were the only 2 pirates not drunk enough to come up and fight with 1-bullet flintlocks. So obviously 2 ladies with 1-bullet guns cannot take on a whole fleet of ships with a bunch of cannons.
Right.
They get arrested. As they're being arrested, she looks at her captain in bow, Jack, and says, "Sorry to see you here, but if you would have fought like a man, you wouldn't be hanged like a dog." The word dog shows up a lot. just so you know.
Wow.
The judge wants to see the two quote-unquote men that fought back so valiantly on their own. He's already tried and hung Calico Jack and the drunken pirates that wouldn't fight. They're dead and gone. The two ladies go in front of the judge and reveal their gender, hoping to save themselves, and the judge could give a shit that they are female. They are still pirates.
I didn't even know yet. I thought they had figured it out. Okay.
Oh yeah, he didn't know. Totally didn't know. But they basically scream back at him, "We plead our bellies," which means they're claiming to be pregnant. You can't hang a pregnant woman in 1720. It's illegal. He sends them both back to jail and delays the hanging. Dad is still up here in South Carolina with all of his Irish money. He bails out Anne and brings her home. She remarries. That's husband number 2, but guy number 4. We're going to count Mary because we're not really sure. And she has 4 children, dies at the age of 84.
Wow.
It's very abrupt because we don't know jack shit about her after her pirate career. That's truthful. So there's plenty of rumors. You guys obviously figured out I don't like to spread rumors. Mary Read died 5 months later in that Jamaican jail from whatever pirates died from in a Jamaican jail. Use your imagination. Most books will tell you that it was something simple like fever. I say make it romantic. Call it scurvy. Why the hell not?
Right.
Now, I'm not going to control this environment like what we did over there at the Pinckney Mansion, trying to keep everything Eliza Miss happy.
Yeah.
You got the point. So you can ask whatever the hell you want to here. I'm going to tell you a few things that I did leave out on purpose, though, just so you have something to work with that's factual.
Okay.
I left out the names of her parents, the father and the mistress. I did not tell you what those were.
Right. Ida?
It was not Ida. Good try.
You were so excited.
She was excited.
Well, I got muscle.
I didn't tell you the name of the city she grew up in Ireland.
Cool.
Yeah, that's a good one. So if you get that answer, I'll be impressed. I did not tell you the name of Calico Jack's ship that she joined, nor the color of her hair.
Okay.
So-
Name of the ship, color of her hair, name of her parents, the parent and the mistress, dad and the mistress.
Right. Still her parents.
Right. And town in Ireland.
You got it.
Okay.
Everything else
I'm
is
going
fair
for
game.
Ireland.
I usually tell people, like, if you brought a bottle of rum and you smoke tobacco,
I
have
swear I
that, because
just
you'll
heard
probably
Irish
attract it.
music for a second.
And you
but
may
I
have. We actually have heard that over here before.
Oh, it was like, oh, I was changing the channel. No, I'm not. Yeah, so I think I heard Irish music.
Okay.
I'm gonna go back in.
She's like the genie in a lamp. I'm going back home.
I know. Step into my map.
So yeah, you hit that record button when we entered, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, we got to hold this whole space for ourselves too.
Cool.
Sometimes the other floors are like flooded around here, which is why I always bring us to the back.
Okay. What's your town in Ireland? Grew up.
Did you say grew up or grew up?
Grew up, I think. Graveyard.
We're next to one. Next one's on the other side.
That's funny. English.
Mary Read was an English pilot. She's from England. So hopefully we get
Translate.
servant with a knife to the belly. That's how it's told.
Mm.
Testify. Don't deserve what you did.
Maybe she should get better at this. Now she's just shouting random shit.
Yeah.
Gone. Friends.
Every time you guys book your tickets, that's Janine from Ghostbusters when she picks up the phone and says we got one, and then hangs it up.
That's funny.
That's somebody booking their tickets for another day.
That's so funny.
They used to just sing the Ghostbusters theme, and then I was like, no, it's funnier to have Janine.
1442.
Quick.
No other words showing up?
Just quick English translate graveyard.
Yeah, I try to be quick with this one if, like,
10.
we'll know, like, usually right away, because we either get some answers
Righteous.
first couple of minutes. It's just a great
Tom
story.
Petty's
to tell.
on. 200 animals? He said numbers are important.
Yeah.
Living, maybe?
So even though, like, she's giving me, like, some long sentences, it's like, what color is a big red barn? And she were to hear Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. I don't need Rudolph the Nosed Reindeer. They got the answer out of red.
Right.
Because it's slowed down. So if the thing
Right.
was sped up, it probably only would have landed on red.
Got it.
Lounges.
So, like, her hearing 200 animals, it sounds funny because it's an odd phrase to hear on the radio, but why did we hear the number 200?
More than fancy something?
Fancy is actually relevant. You're about to get the next word, I can almost guarantee it.
843.
That's our area code. I don't think those.
Stop laughing at me.
No, she's
I'm
laughing
not.
at me.
Oh.
Yeah.
843 is our
She's
area
looking at
code.
me and laughing.
I said I throw away 843 because that's our area code. You're going to hear it all the time.
Oh.
I'm hoping you're going to get the next one word because that's fancy.
Spring and summer.
She says shit funny. She's saying it how she's hearing it.
Oh, she is?
Uh-huh.
Oh,
That's why it's funny. Most people do that. Teenagers are the worst.
why they just do it exactly?
And they're loud. Oh my god, are they loud?
That makes sense.
Well, they got AirPods in
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Fire.
Come on, Ann. What's the rest of that fancy phrase?
Smile.
Nope. Not a fancy smile. I've had-
Lifting.
I've had poachers too. They see all
Wake
the
me
gear,
up.
and then people try to leave one tour to latch
Really?
on. Oh yeah. I'm a dick about it
What do you do?
because I know
Incredible
everybody in
data.
my group.
Mm.
So I'm like, you don't belong here. Go find your other group.
Oh, they literally just.
Oh, they'll try to jump in.
Oh. Don't like ask.
Won't back down.
Yeah, you're not gonna join us.
Stop
without
Petty
me.
back.
Right, obviously.
I'm not cheap. No.
Listen.
Outspoken.
Could be another Dr. Ladd reference, listening for whistles. Vague, I would need, obviously, something very specific.
Mhm.
What the hell we're listening for. We'll give her another minute and we'll wrap this one up.
Tourism.
Wake me up before you go, girl. Or go. Whatever those lyrics are.
It's go-go. God, I'm dating myself at this point. Does she not realize she's like the star of the show right now? Like in real time?
No.
Like Spirit Box people, like they get all the real time stuff. Even when I hand that camera out, like it's not always a real time catch. It's,
Yeah.
A lot of times it's from
Yeah.
the next day. So I say it's not always the most exciting tool to have, but it is kick ass.
11?
You guys get it back. Alright, I think it's time to call it. What do you think?
Sure.
Okay, let's get her out of there. Not a good Dreamland.
What?
Not a good Dreamland. We're gonna call it.
Yeah.
Only, there's a couple of things that were pretty vague, but could be relevant if other things are caught when I get back to the office.
Okay.
So I'll explain what those things are. Go ahead and hit the stop button.